Hi, this is Kevin Trainer, and welcome to my briefing for Chapter 9 of the Pinkham book, Django Unleashed. And Chapter 9 is about controlling forms in views. And this is, again, another typical chapter in that we're shown some code that's kind of a less summarized, less magical version, and then we quickly move on to a more final version of the code that we're going to use. And in this case, we're kind of probably want to stick with the final version because we don't give up any control in deciding to go with it. Okay. Um, So let's just look through this chapter here, and there's just a couple of things I want to um, comment on. Okay, um, there's a discussion here that I've had a couple of other places about um, how hmm, how the form object changes its state, and then also how we go from kind of page to page and which pages use which HTTP methods, particularly in when we are creating a page and we are updating a page and we are deleting a page. The final interaction that we have is that the user is submitting a form that is going to use the HTTP post method. Okay, so the logic for that is going to be in our class base views. That's going to be in the method for post. And in those pages, the ones where we do the create and the update and the the create and the update, and the delete too. Um, when the user clicks on a link that says, "I want to create a new whatever," or I want to update this whatever," or "I want to delete this whatever," they're clicking on a link. Okay, we're going to generate a page, and the code for that is going to be we're going to be looking for the request that's coming in from the browser to be an HTTP GET. Why? Well, because they're clicking on a link, and that's what you get when you click on a link. So the page that typically responds and puts out the next part of the conversation, either the form to be filled in or the form to be modified, or the confirmation page in the case of delete, or if we want to be more sophisticated, the confirmation or the refusal or error page and delete. Those things are all going to be triggered off of the HTTP GET. And so the code to make those kind of responses go are going to be in our get method within our class-based view. Okay. So there's a lot of kind of pseudo code here to help us kind of understand how all that goes. You can put some time into this. I think just kind of following through with what we do on the Easy University tutorial will be as useful as this and perhaps more, but feel free. Um, so, um, we begin by looking at the views code. And of course, the original version of views that he gives you here are function-based views. And we don't really do function-based views, right? So we wait until we get down here and create these class-based views. Okay, so again, this is another function-based view where we're going to get the class-based views because that's what we really want to use. They talk through the URL patterns. I think we've been through those pretty well with the other chapters. Where's our class-based view? It's coming. Here it is, class-based view. So we're all the way down here on 9.23 before we get to a proper class-based view. And again, we've got tag create. Here we've got the post. So we're going to typically have a post and a get. Okay. The post on something like the create is going to be what processes the HTML page, the form when it comes in, when they fill out the form and they click on the button to create the new whatever. What's going to handle that? Well, it's going to be the post. Okay? Because HTML forms, we typically say that the method is equal to post. Okay? And here, one of the problems in I think the example that Pinkham shows is he has a domain object for a blog post called post, and then he has an HTTP method called a post, and that can lead to a lot of confusion. So this isn't the one I really want to pay a lot of attention to. Okay. Probably better that we go down and look at something like startup, which doesn't have that potential confusion for names. But again, what happens when we're doing this create? Well, what puts out the blank form? Well, the get does. Okay, the user clicks on a link. A link generates a get, and then we respond by rendering a form for them to fill in. And then when they fill it in and they click the button, it's a post, and it comes in and it gets handled by here. It's that simple. Okay. And again, we do something similar for news links. So in the chapter, he walks us through the create. He walks us through the update. He walks us through the delete. Okay. I just want to go ahead and talk about the delete code because it's the most complex. So let's go down to the delete code because that's where I really want to make my point. We're still modifying here. And where's our deleting objects? So down here at 9.4, web pages for deleting objects, here's where he begins to show us how we're going to write the controller code. Again, in the classic model view controller architecture, most of the controller code is in Django view. A little bit is in urls.py, but most of it is in the Django view. So here's where the main action is when we're doing the work. Okay, and I just want to point out what he does for a post. Is in post, this is his main application object, so this is a blog post. He implements a get, and he implements a post, and you'll notice in the get, he, as soon as he knows that you have properly asked for a post that he can find, well, then he returns you a confirmation page. Okay, so he doesn't care if the post is hooked to a particular tag or a particular startup or anything like that. If you want to delete the post, he's just going to send you a confirmation. Okay, and then when you click on the confirmation and you say yes, I click the confirm delete button. Well, then he goes ahead and he does the delete in the post, so that works fine. Okay, I just want to point out he doesn't do any activity to check if you are deleting posts that are being used by tags or startups. If you want to delete a post, you can delete a post. And this is kind of the nature of this kind of expressive medium. Okay, it's going to turn out that when we get to Easy University, we're going to be lax like this when we go to delete a section. Okay, because it's the major fact table that we have. But with lookup tables, we're not going to delete them if they're being used by a section. And I kind of feel he should have done the same thing here when you see the logic he does for news links. Okay, news links they're kind of documents in their own right. So if you don't want to talk about them anymore, that's fine. But for instance, we have, let's find tags. Where did he do tags? Tags are here somewhere. I'm just saying, when you look at the code that he has here for tags and startups, he doesn't check to see if these things are part of a post. Are they being used in a post? Was it used to tag a post? Are we just going to get rid of it now? Okay. We do a more sophisticated version of handling the delete in our tutorial project of Easy University. Okay. Let's see. Putting all together, not much to add here. So this is the chapter where you can find code for create, you can find code for update, you can find code for delete. This is pretty comprehensive that way. He does give us some kind of early code that's primarily the code that we're seeing for these things is the view code, and he begins by using function-based views, and we've already been through this. If we can use class-based views, we're going to use class-based views. So probably best to not worry so much about what he has to say about the approach using function-based views, and put your time into understanding the code for class-based views, because that's what we're using. Okay, well, that's it. Again, with this chapter, as with a lot of them, to the extent that you're following along with the tutorial that is the Pinkham book, when it gets to the end of chapter 9, you should be able to test most things. Okay, you should have a full CRUD application here too, and if you spin your repository up to the end of chapter 9, and you're careful, you should have pretty much a testable application at the end of chapter 9. Not so much at the end of chapter 7 or 8, but definitely at the end of chapter 9. Okay, that's it. See you again next time. Bye.